Hello, my name is Rothnum, and welcome back to Storytime. Now, as you know, I have been given permission to narrate some stories written by some fantastic authors off of Reddit. And today, I'm going to be reading a different story brought to us by Because I Said So Too. And this story is called Dream Brother. I think I was around 15 when I saw him last. The dreams were starting to seem a little silly. We'd fight through the obstacles and forces aligned against us, and eventually get to the monster, who by this point I pretty much knew for certain was loosely based on my father. We thrash him and bash him to the outland, the unexplored regions beyond our domain, the kingdom of the two princes, and peace and tranquility would once more reign supreme in our kingdom. In the past, we knew the monster would be back. Usually, he'd collect another army of dream creatures, and we'd march to defeat him again. This time was different. We had fought harder. We defeated him for good. The most recent battle had pitted great books against the monster's army of broken, empty bottles. In the end, when we were surrounded, the books had flown in, pages flapping like angels' wings, and they all formed a wall of protection between us and the broken ends of the jagged bottles, and shot out strings of letters spelling out encouraging praises, shattering bottles into harmless pieces of safety glass. And then we banished the monster again, this time for good, with the phrases I had heard in court, as the judge had imposed the real-life court order which would eventually keep my dad away from me and my mom, until he drank himself to death 3 years later. I remember sitting next to Manny, that's what I called my imaginary brother, sitting on a huge upside-down L, I think, our legs dangling and swinging, both of us in our brilliant armor with the clasped hands emblem on our chest plates, my armor silver, his gold. Hey, buddy, I'm going to go away for a bit. I think we've trounced the monster for good this time. And I think you have other dreamlands to explore, he said, smiling. I didn't know then that he'd be gone for good. I could hear my alarm beeping faintly in the distance. I could see the dreamscape sinking into the ground around me. This is a pretty typical way for our adventures to end. So as usual, I gave him a hug and woke up with my arm thrown around my pillow. That was 20 years ago. Last night, I visited the land of the two princes again after spending a few sleepless hours tossing and turning. Hours earlier, I had poured all my liquor down the drain in the sleeping room I was renting weekly. I had just come off a 3-day bender and had woken up covered in vomit, with nothing in the house but a half-empty bottle of vodka in my hand and a full bottle of pain pills that had rolled behind the fridge. It's likely that if they hadn't rolled away, and if I hadn't been too drunk to get to them, I would have emptied both bottles and ended up just like my dad. I knew that I had to stop drinking. I just didn't know how. I just didn't know how I could do it alone, and I had no one to help me. That's the thought I eventually fell asleep to, and I opened my eyes to the Technicolor dreamscape of the land of the two princes. I looked down to see that I was clothed in bright gold armor with an emblem of two hands clasping on the chest plate. And then I saw him, a smaller version of me in silver armor with an emblem of two hands clasping on the front. His eyes were wide with curiosity and excitement, ready for adventure, ready for anything. Hi, I'm Manny, I said. I'm your dream brother. We've got a monster we need to battle and we can't do it alone. We clasped hands, his small one in mine, and then we turned to face the monster that was threatening us and the peace of our kingdom. This has been Dream Brother, brought to you by Because I Said So Too, and narrated by yours truly, Rothnum. This is a very interesting story. It kind of has a couple of things in it, like almost like he could see into the future. He was dreaming about an older version of himself coming back to help him fight his nightmares of his dad. And then when he needs a friend, when he's at his lowest point due to his own alcoholism, he goes back into the dream world and uh, and he sees his younger self, and his younger self helps him battle his own demons, which is alcoholism. So, as a child, uh, he worked to defeat his dad's alcoholism, and now as an adult, he works to defeat his own alcoholism in the dream world with himself. It's a very unique and a very cool um, picture to have. Basically saying that in order to make a change, you need to start with yourself, and that is very true. In order to change things in your life, you need to start with yourself, and you need to learn to love yourself, because anybody can help you or offer to help you, but their help is not going to do anything unless you actually want that change and want that help. So if you really want to change, you need to work on it yourself with the help of other people. So work on you first and worry about other people later. Once you're happy, that's when you can help other people. Easier said than done, but that's that's pretty much the gist of what I get from this story. But this was a great story, and I love the imagery and the idea of um, being a child and dreaming, and somebody older than you comes in and helps you fight off your monsters in your childhood, and then um, going back to your childhood as an adult. Um, and going back to the good times and remembering those times. Um, yeah, I really like this story. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked it. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell, because when you ring that bell, you'll get notifications for every time I post new videos, which I do daily. I'll leave a link in the description below, so you can also go to the authors, to the story, this actual story, and make sure you show the author your love, and let them know how much you appreciate their story and how much you love their story. I will see you guys next time. Until then, keep your head up and keep moving forward. This is Rafnum, signing off.